chosen subject in Mastermind here. Are we good to go? Hello, I'm Hamish Stedman. I'm a non-executive director at the Northern Care Alliance. Myself, I was born in Edinburgh, went to St Andrews University before it was a trendy place, came down to Manchester in 1975 and trained in Salford's hospitals. There were 5 hospitals in those days. Salford wasn't a particularly exciting place to look at there. It was pouring with rain when I first came, and yet 50 years later, I've spent all my life in Salford. I live in Salford. I worked as a GP in Salford. I was a clinical medical officer at one of the local hospices. My GP time came to an end in mid-2015. Prior to that, I started to get interested in commissioning, population health, when we talk about it later on, and then I've been a non-exec here since 2016. What do I do in my spare time? I like photography. I'm a madly passionate Manchester United supporter, which has been a bit rough for the last 5 years. My young middle daughter just had our 6th grandchild, so grandchild minding. So I think that's been enough on my plate for my spare time. About 2010, so maybe 10, 15 years ago, I started wondering what I'd done as a GP. And that sounds really odd, but I could tell you what I did for an individual patient. I could probably tell you what I'd done for an individual family. But I had no sense about what I'd done for the population that I'd looked after, and I had no sense about if I had done better or worse than my colleagues. So population health really started to intrigue me. And so I got into commissioning, and then the job here came up. I was getting too old to get up at night, middle of the night in my mid-60s. So there was quite a clear passion by the then leadership, and as there is now, about population health. And so that really fired me to come and work here. My one passion about healthcare. If you leave this hospital and turn one direction, you have a completely different life expectancy if you turn another direction. Maybe the order of 5 to 10 years in the 6th biggest economy in the world. We have in our population footprint of the Northern Care Alliance people whose household income, annual income, is less than 20,000, and they get a really raw deal. And if you look at the health service, and you look at what the board does here, we're aware when you come to our services, you already are ill, so it's not really a national health service, it's a national illness service. But this organisation, and I personally am very passionate about actually stopping people becoming ill, because really you want to stop people becoming ill or live as long before they become ill as possible. So that is what really fires me. I suppose, coming from a clinical background, when I come to the board here, I have to look at clinical things as one of my main sort of focuses. So the quality of care, safety of care, fairness of care. Also, efficient use of resource, so we're not squandering resource, that we're constantly improving to endeavour to make the population's health better over time. And also any unfairness, so some subsets of the population getting a bad deal. I think that's what I bring to the board, is my main focus. In this next year, I would love to see how the frontline staff, our people, really drive the improvement of care and feel that they own it and have real input to it. Everything we do in this organisation is reliant on our people. They're our single biggest asset. They have been through an appalling time with COVID. They really have worked so hard. I would love to think that we nurture and cherish them more than we do now. I think without people we are nothing.